Mimi nauliza nyinyi, kama mko na shida na Wakikuyu, hamuko na shida na Wakikuyu kuliko sisi wa Kalenjin. Tuko na shida kubwa zaidi. Sawa sawa? Lakini ikifika mahali unatofautisha maneno, unaweka maneno ya tofauti za kijamii kando, unatafuta serikali kwanza, kwa sababu ile serikali itakusaidia kutatua matatizo ulio nayo.
There is a lot. Yeah, I'm just landing in a second. It's okay. And then the other thing that I wanted to say, there is an importance in seeing a body. Because Tony Gashoka is here and I respect Tony Gashoka, I'm coming to his space because Tony Gashoka is there. If I see a body, if I see Kalonzo somewhere with somebody, things can change differently just because he is there as him. I land. Thank you.
Thank you, Kenyan lady. And that's exactly why Tony is hosting this space, because he's trying to establish if it's a good idea to invite Kalonzo here. So that was the main essence of this conversation. But next is Classic. Classic, please proceed.
Mwero, can I ask you a favor? Mwero, can I ask you a favor, please? A commentary on what the girl have said. Yani, we take it easy. Yani, we take it easy. Like, we cannot trust people just like that, okay? Really, just like that, just like that. Just like that. Tony, Gashoka, unajua tuko na kazi mingi sana kimefanya. Na bado tuko na watoto. You guys, we have a future for our country. So hapa hautaki mchezo na tutabehave. Hata Kalonzo kikuja hautamtusi. I'm telling you, I assure you. Hautamtusi, okay? Hata nani akitokea, we reason together, lakini hatutaki story mingi.
Mimi naona umesikia mzee. Na mimi I'm giving you my word, and I'm committing to my nation Kenya that I'm going to bring us together. I'm going to call Kalonzo after this space.
Tony, usituuze, Tony, please, usituuze.
Excuse me, unanijua. Mimi nasema hivi, I've never hosted a space in my life, but I've seen the country, the issue of trust is gone. And ndio mimi mzee na kusikia kwa umakini, and I'm not naive, and I'm not going to be begging Kalonzo. I'll be telling him off, but I can't tell him off in public. I'm listening very carefully to what Kenyans are saying.
Thank you. Tony, wacha nikuambie, from when space started, the third day I was in space. So space inakuanga zangu hivi, nimelose 4 accounts, 5 accounts, it doesn't matter. Wacha nikuambie bro, hapa huyu jamaa, watu wote, sisi goal yetu ni accountability. Accountability. Zingine hatutaki ndoni mob. Tony, kama unakula pesa ya wizi, mimi sijakula pesa ya wizi. Niko na watoto wangu, niko na bibi zangu nimenunua. Nafanyanga kazi every day bro. Nafanya kazi every day.
Mweru, can you move? I've had him. Yeah. Can you move on now?
Glassy, go ahead. Glass King, go ahead. All right, Titus, go ahead. Titus. Titus, please go ahead. Can you guys hear me? All right, Daniel, go ahead.
Thank you. I wanted to weigh in on where Tony and especially where the lady was coming from, because I even had the same thing in mind when I had that Kalonzo would be hosted. The first thing I thought is, okay, fine, these guys have clout. We've seen them pretty much our entire lives. But I think if you call them forth, the only thing that most people will be jittery about is that yes, we want them with us because they have the clout, they have the power, they have the experience, they have the knowledge, they have the people, they have everything. But because of all the trauma, of all the mistakes that have come in the past, their needs, because yes, we can have a rallying call that's saying, if you fight with us, you're one of us, fine. And that should be the rallying call. If you're fighting with us, you're one of us. But their needs, the Kalonzos of this world, they need to show us that they actually mean what they say, and they need to do politically inconvenient things. We need to see them when like call a press conference and be like, X and Y are missing. This is the parent. Nani is dead. This is the parent. We haven't seen them for 3 months. Where are they? We need to see them doing the politically inconvenient.
Exactly.
Like they have to do it. This is not a gift. They have.
What I'm saying, I'm agreeing with you. Exactly. And that's what I want to say to them. I'm just asking you, should I say it to them or not?
Yeah. Sorry. I thought you wanted to say. I'm saying we have to see. In fact, we should not close this door for anyone. We should not close this door for Babu. We should not close this door for the MPs. Even right now, I know there are a lot of Mount Kenya MPs that are angry. And I also refuse to believe that our parliament is filled with sociopaths and psychopaths. I refuse to believe that. There has to be people there who, though they are they have walls of inconvenient. You have Ruto over here, you have security over here, you have money over here. They have all these walls that are preventing them. But I refuse to believe that if you really show this,
I want to ask you, you're contributing very well.
Not follow.
You're contributing very well. I want to ask you a question. Remember the question of the topic today. Is Ruto the next Amini Dada? And I ask you this because if we don't, you know, right now we are.
I 100% agree. I'm actually being solution oriented. I'm saying call them, all of them, as many as we can. We need all forces marshaled. But in order to quell these jitters of the people, because you do not want other squabbles coming up when you're actually facing the enemy. So when the Kalonzos of this world come here, they need to first know when we get there is a trust deficit.
What I'm saying, when Kalonzo come here, tell him that. Don't tell me.
Sawa.
Amweru, endelea.
Juma, go ahead. All right, Fred, proceed.
Thank you, Mweru. I think it is.
Hello, sorry.
So, Ruto.
Hello, may I speak?
Juma, I'll have you speak after Fred is done. Just wait a second.
So my issue is our parliament, the 13th parliament, is a house of fools. As you see, hiyo maneno vile wameifanya na haraka ni kama kuna mahali tunaenda. So most of Kenyans we oppose, tukasema kufa makanga, kufa dereva. So you cannot tell people because these two guys are thieves, we can chase one thief. So you chase a pickpocketer and also you remain with the robber. It's unfair. So Ruto, for somebody who has not discovered that is next Amini, I discovered on, I think it was 007. So when I discovered that this person is not a good person. So most of young generation who voted for this guy, now they have realized that this person is not a good person. Kenya is heading in a wrong direction, Mr. Tony. The way I say, the way you say, we are in the course. So we need those leaders that you are mentioning, they should have to join us. So tunapoenda maandamano, we were saying that this we are
to join, sivyo?
So we see at we are saying that we were against the party governance.
Kama Saida mama alishikwa, uliona wote walikuwa hapo, Makakarua, Wamalwa, mpaka jaji akaogopa.
So we need that support. We cannot say that as young generation we can have our agenda to remove Ruto ourselves. We need experienced people so that they will assist us to chase this guy out of power. The guy has been looting the resources of this country. So we are watching mambo na shift, mambo na abduction. Most of young generation of Kenyans have died because of opposing Ruto with his bad governance. So bunge imetekwa nyara.
Kwa sababu Mweru anataka kumove the mic, nikuulize hivi. Huyu Kalonzo akikuja waende kanisa na Gachagua Nyeri on Sunday, sai wako US. Utakuwa aje? Unanielewa? Yani huyu mtu tumjibu kisiasa.
So I mean it is no problem. We must show Mr. Ruto that Kenya is more important than William Ruto. Mimi sikuwa expect kwamba Raila Amolo Odinga and he might go to bed with a thief. So it is very unfortunate to see all kinds of inhumanity issues.
Mzee nimekusikia, wacha to move mic juu nataka watu wengi wa Kenya waongee juu mimi nimekasirika. I must make some phone calls. We can't allow this thing of Gachagua. You know, I don't even know him. But I am going to, even me, I'll go to Nyeri. I'll go there with Kalonzo myself, if necessary, because we have to take this anger. We have to take this anger. Yeah.
The main agenda ya kufukuza Gachagua ni hawa wabunge wako na maki juu he didn't support the finance bill. So there was an agenda.
What I'm saying, forget Gachagua. Anyway, Mweru, forget Gachagua. But what do we do now that people are hungry? Mimi nataka kuambia Kalonzo amke. Mweru, move the mic. Yeah.
All right, let's go to Juma. Juma, can you hear me? Juma, then Kim, then Wainaina, then data activist, then humanitarian.
Oh, yes, I can hear you. Well, thank you so much. Tony, I think the idea of inviting Kalonzo and anybody else who is willing to contribute to this cause is welcomed. We need the support of everybody because this is such a complex and a difficult task that requires contribution from many people. We need collective approach towards this cause. But we must also recognize that we are in a very difficult situation. What we are seeing from William Ruto is an attempt to consolidate power and become an dictator. And if we allow a dictatorship to encroach into our country at this point, then we are all done. We are all going to die. Because we're living at a time when we face a lot of adversity. We face so many adversaries. We're in a worse position than our grandfathers were. This is not even in the 90s. We are in a worse situation than in the 90s. So if you give us a dictator at this point in time, and we have a debt, we are paying almost more than 70% of our GDP goes to paying debt. It will get to 90, even more than 100 at some point, because if we allow these guys to keep on stealing the way they are stealing and to keep on pursuing the kind of destructive policies that they continue pursuing, we're going to end up with no country here. And the bad thing is that the most unfortunate situation that we are in right now is that we will not have anywhere to go to. We are in at a time when we cannot even go to Europe. We cannot migrate to any other place. We can't migrate to Somalia. This is the only country we have. So yes, it is a good idea to invite anybody who is genuinely interested in saving this country. We have to invite them on board. But if Kalonzo comes on board or anybody else, they must be ready to be interrogated.
I'm not interrupting you. What I'm asking Kenyans to help me, wakikuja muwaambie, unajua, wacha kuniambia mimi. Unaelewa, what I want to do is create the conversation. Do I do it or, they have their own mouths and their own ears. You know, because what else do we have? Kalonzo ni Mkenya, alikufa na Kibaki, and he saved Kenya. That guy has supported Raila 3 times. I don't think he's as bad as others are. I'm not saying he's as good but at this point, what do we have? I was counting the MPs yesterday who voted. I was so impressed that every Kamba MP voted against that motion. In fact, only 2 who are with Alfred Mutua voted. All the other MPs of all other parties, including ODM, went. And so I asked myself, have I been underestimating this guy? Is because he doesn't have a Tony Gashoka in his life. Maybe he doesn't have somebody as forceful as me. That we have allowed the watermelon and all this to stick on him. Na nikiamuka niambiwa Kenya, mimi nataka kusaidia hii mzee. Na ndio mimi nasema leo as TG. Yani mimi nimechoka. Yani naangalia na naona tu giza. Lakini unajua mkubwa leo ni Mweru. Yeye ndio atasema vile watu wanaongea.
Yeah, next is Kim, followed by Wainaina, then data activist.
I think I did not land yet.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry about that.
All right. Okay, fine. Tony, I agree with you. You can invite him and then we will reason together.
I give you my word of honor. And as I said, if you look at the people who follow me, Kalonzo is following. And right now he's in Washington and he's listening to what we are saying.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Yeah,
Sorry, can you proceed?
Yeah.
Kim 001.
Hello everyone. 001. I hope I'm audible. Yeah, I think I'd start by saying that I'm really happy that Tony Gashoka has said Kalonzo is listening, because I feel some of these things need to be addressed as early as now. I think as one of the young generation people, we are really open to including everyone of a common cause, of a common goal towards liberating Kenya, getting the Kenya we want. But also, we need to remember, now that he's been office as a leader, some of us might have a few questions. I think we're knowledgeable enough to know the line between insults and really getting to ask issues that might need address, because if you really put them for the future, then you're just creating an avenue of polarization later on. Then I think, for me, I think that is something that should be let happen.
Let me ask you something.
Okay.
Tumwoshe mababu. Do you have a chance against Ruto?
Kim, are you going to respond to that?
Remove the mic. That's fine.
All right, we have Wainaina, Mr. Wainaina. Oh, Wainaina, yes.
Okay, thank you. So I'm of the opinion that right now it's the time to move from activism to politicizing. And I think right now, some of the politicians we've never seen, and personally, some of them that you're suggesting, I've never seen eye to politically. But I think it's the time when we should now start saying the enemy of my enemy is my friend, and work together to bring Ruto down. Because the things that are happening, actually, I'm very surprised that even the people that we're talking about haven't said anything about the bill that is in the parliament right now about extending the term for president. And I think those are some of the issues that they should come out and say where they stand, so that we can know if they stand with the people and if they don't stand with the people. Because
the most important thing you said, I'm not interrupting you, is that point. And by the way, I want to say this so that you continue, so that this space can have a lot of value today. I want to put it on public record why I disagreed with Raila Odinga, and that was a critical part. And please keep your thoughts on that issue. Because
All right, we have Wainaina, Mr. Wainaina. Oh, Wainaina, yes.
Okay, thank you. So I'm of the opinion that right now it's the time to move from activism to politicizing. And I think right now some of the politicians we've never seen. Personally, some of them that you're suggesting, I've never seen eye to eye with them politically. But I think it's the time when we should now start saying the enemy of my enemy is my friend, and work together to bring Ruto down. Because the things that are happening, actually, I'm very surprised that even the people that we're talking about haven't said anything about the bill that is in the parliament right now about extending the term for president. And I think those are some of the issues that they should come out and say where they stand, so that we can know if they stand with the people and if they don't stand with the people. Because
the most important thing you said, I'm not interrupting you, is that point. And by the way, I want to say this so that you continue, so that this space can have a lot of value today. I want to put it on public record why I disagreed with Raila Odinga, and that was a critical part. And please keep your thoughts on that issue, because I did not participate in the last general election. But when Raila began the Maandamano, we met with him at Riverside Drive, and he hosted a meeting where Makau Mutua was a coordinator. His sister was there, Ruth Odinga, James Orengo, Amolo Otiende, Oledema, and several people. And Raila said, look, we lost this election, but Ruto has been elected. I want to give him a chance to govern. But the first thing Ruto has done, he has bought MPs of ODM. And by buying MPs of ODM, he has now taken the majority of Azimio and put it in Kenya Kwanza. And if we allow him to do this is Raila speaking where I'm present personally. If we allow him to do this, he will become like Museveni and Kagame. In other words, Raila was raising an issue of how by capturing parliament, where Azimio had won more MPs, and Azimio was meant to be an opposition, young Kenyans, that we've had official opposition leader. We've had Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, we have had Mwai Kibaki, we have had Wamalwa Kijana, we have had Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. In other words, even where there was a government, we had an official opposition leader. So what Ruto did from day one was to buy the opposition, and that became the journey toward taking over the opposition. So what shocks me is now that ODM yesterday joined him, that there is no longer any shame. They are not hiding. They are all in, which means that as we speak, 90% of Kenyans' parliament is in William Ruto's pocket. And that's why I asked the question, is William Ruto Amini Dada? Endelea kijana, ama mzee, I don't know your age.
Okay, so personally I think he is on the road to become a dictator. Honestly, he is on the road to become a dictator. But also another thing, so another reason why people are a little bit apprehensive when you're saying about inviting the politicians here is the same thing that you said. 2 years ago, Raila was totally against Ruto. Right now, he is in bed with Ruto. What is to say that if we bring these politicians in, 2 years from now, they won't go and just do the same thing? So it's because the political nini in Kenya is...
So nakuuliza juu na land vizuri, situkuje tuanike watu hapa, mwache kuniwachia hii kazi peke yangu. My question is only one. Nilete hawa watu muanike ama nisiwalete? Unaelewa? You're confusing me. Because when will you talk to them? Will you talk to them by just being quiet? Ama tukae tu?
Okay, I think we need the political muscle, and it would be very important for the movement, for the political muscle to be part of this. But before they come in, they should actually now state whether they are part of the movement fully. And as a previous speaker has said, they should be ready to do politically inconvenient things for the sake of the Kenyans who have...
Mimi nitaleta Kalonzo, lakini mimi sitamwambia, nyinyi ndio mtamwambia. Si kama tuelewani. Yani mimi simleti aende kanisa, sinamlete mchape. Mwambie vile mnataka.
I personally am for the. I personally am at the point where I think we need now political muscle. We've done a lot of activism. We've done a lot of civil education. Now it's time to play the political mchezo wa town.
Ya mwisho unafikiri Ruto atalala akisikia Tony Gachoka ameleta Kalonzo kwa space? Unafikiri atalala siku hiyo? Unajua huyu Zakayo lazima tumpatie shindano from time to time. Tuwezi kumpatia kina Murala anawachukua. Kwa nini achukui Kalonzo? Anachukua Murala, anachukua Karono. Unajua hata watu wengine, unajua hata nyinyi muangalie game. How come he's taking the lightweights? Kwa nini asiarrest Karua ama Kalonzo? Sasa mimi nakwambia hivi, mimi nataka ni vile sikulala vizuri. I'm very concerned because I can help this country. Mweru?
Yeah, let's hear from data activist, then humanitarian, then Wanyo.
Thank you, Mweru. Thank you, TG, for the space. And this is my take. Yeah, me, I'm all for you bringing Kalonzo on space, but I am only one vote. So this is my suggestion, my proposal, that we do a poll or a survey that caters for, let's say, 2,000 guys, because on this space right now we are slightly below 400, and you're not going to get views from everyone. If you had, let's say, like 2,000 guys, we ask them a number of questions, we get to know what they want, who they want based on preference and so on. That way, you'll be able to know exactly who people want more than any other, and we'll be able to ask more questions. It can be even just 5, for example. And that will give you a more informed decision when you make it. That's my suggestion. Tony, over to you.
Tony, please refresh the space. Tony, do you hear us? Okay, go ahead, humanitarian.
I wish he's hearing, because I've personally kept aside my personal feelings for the politicians. I never want to relate with any of them, but no, guys, there's something. If we can use them for something, then let's. So my idea was, if Kalonzo is brought here, we need to just focus directly on insisting on IBC, because we need some push from internally. I don't know what's happening. Okay, we know what's happening, why he's not forming IBC, but if we can just spend like an hour really pushing him and looking at all the avenues that we can touch so that we form IBC, because he is Idd Amin. He's definitely Idd Amin, and he's consolidated all arms of the government. We need one arm of the government. We can do this as the people if we're willing to go to the streets, all millions of us. But then if it's a group of people, if it's this group of people that we're fighting, if it's a particular group of people, we've not had all Kenyans on board yet. We've seen that on the streets. We need an arm of the government. We need less